Good day, fourth graders. This is such an important math lesson today. You should have reteach and practice 20.6 because today we are going to learn how to add fractions with unlike denominators. It's going to be a really important lesson to pay attention to watch, maybe even twice, because this is critically important, and I would like to show you why. Let's take a look at this first example of, let's pretend that we want to add together 1/2 plus 1/4. Now I want to show you why the answer would not simply be, let's add the numerator, 1 plus 1 is 2, and 2 plus 4 is 6. If you would do it that way, you would get an answer of 2/6. Well, let's see once. Does 2/6 equal 1/2 plus 1/4? Absolutely not. So what we need to remember today is before we can ever add or subtract fractions, we have to make sure that the addends, the pieces, have the same denominator. But that's not that difficult because we've learned that we can rename fractions many different ways. We can make equivalent fractions. We can put fractions in simplest form simply by multiplying by that fancy 1, a number over itself. So today, which one of these would I want to rename? Well, I can take my 1/2, and I know another way of naming 1/2 is using 2/4 times 2 times 2. So it's like taking that pink half away, replacing it with now fourths. Now I've got the same size piece, and so I can see that 1/2 is really like thinking about 2/4 plus 1/4 would be equal to 3/4, and that answer is in simplest form. It's counting order. So today we're going to look at lots of different ways to, well, not different ways, but just different examples of how we can add fractions with unlike denominators. We're going to see lots of things, but the most important thing to remember here is, let me show you how I would do it on my paper. The answer is not 2/6. The right way to do it is thinking about, what do I need to rename? I can rename 2. Can I turn my 2 into a 4? Or halves into fourths would be a better way of saying it. Yes, I can. And I'm going to put it on my paper so I see it. In my mind, times 2 times 2. There's that 2/4, mentally equaling that half. Now I'm going to add the pieces that have the common denominator. 2 pieces of yellow plus 1 piece of yellow on my model was 3 pieces of yellow, known as 3/4. That's in simplest form my final answer. So remember, you must always have, you must have a common denominator before adding and subtracting fractions. So let's take a look at several examples. The first one we already did, all right? But I want to also show you these because I want to show you underneath the pink paper how I would actually figure this out today. So here's my example we just did. How would I figure it out? I would be renaming my half to be 2/4 and getting that answer of 3/4. Now let's move on with this example. What if I have 2/3 plus 1/6? I cannot add them the way they are right now because my denominators don't match. What I always ask myself to make it as easy as I is, can I just rename one of them, or do I have to rename both fractions? Well, in this case, I look at the smaller denominator as far as number-wise, but remember it's a bigger piece. Can I turn my 3 into a 6 with multiplying? Absolutely I can by using my facts I've learned. 3 in my head times 2 is 6, and then 2 times 2 is 4. So I've just renamed equivalent fractions. 2/3 equals 4/6. This already is a 6th. So I have something that equals 4/6 plus 1/6. It is going to be 5/6. Simplest form? Absolutely. It's counting order. So that is what I would show on my paper. Here's another example. 3/5 plus 1/5. Hey, did you notice I put an easy one in here? It should be easy because my denominators are the same. Because they are, all I need to do is add the pieces. 3 pieces of the fifths plus 1 piece of the fifth equals 4/5. Simplest form, counting order. Now this next problem is what you'll see today, and this is a little more challenging. Again, I look at 3/4 plus 1/6. I look at my smaller number here in my denominator, which are fourths. Can I turn my 4 into a 6 using multiplication? You're right. The answer is no. So in that case, I've got to find a common denominator. And a common denominator is also kind of known as a common multiple. I've listed several of the first multiples of 4. I've listed some of the first multiples of the 6, the answers to the multiplication problems. Remember those songs? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, etc. I want to find a common denominator. And if I find that common denominator, I want to try to find the smallest one that both 4 and 6 have in their list of multiples. Have you spotted it? Good. I see the smallest one is 12, so that's the one I want to use. So I'm going to put that actually right on my paper, and then I'm going to make my equivalent fractions by thinking about what am I multiplying, what fancy one. 4 times 3 is 12, and 3 times 3 is 9. So I've just made equivalent fractions. 6 times 2 is 12, 1 times 2 is 2. I have something that equals 9 pieces of 12 plus 2 more pieces of 12. My answer, let's see if I did it right, is 11/12. Now, what would have happened if I would have seen, some of you saw, oh, 4 and 6 is also has a common multiple of 24. And in fact, 4 times 6 is 24. Believe it or not, you could do it that way. Let me show you on the paper. Oops, let me show you on a different piece of paper. If I would take my 3/4, let me rewrite it up here. And let's say I see, let's say the common denominator is 24. That will work. I can times, but be careful, times 6 times 6 times 4 times 4. Now I'm going to take my 18/24 plus my 4 pieces of 24, and I get 22/24. Now the addition looks right, but I always will have to probably put it in simplest form because I didn't find the smallest common denominator. But that's easy enough. They're both even numbers, so I can divide by 2. I can divide by 2, and I will get it down to the same answer as that one. So any common denominator will work. It's easier to find the smallest common denominator. Let's take a look at another one of these slightly more challenging ones. But it's not so bad because, again, I see 6 and 4. And as you do more and more of these problems, you're going to see those common multiples, those common denominators will come to you, I hope, quickly. Because, again, 6 and 4. My smaller one, can't be turned into a 6. We just talked about that. So what's the common denominator? Well, the smallest one was 12. So let's rewrite those fractions with a 12 in the denominator. You will do this on your paper. Do not hold it in your head or you will make lots of mistakes. Just right next to it is what I suggest somewhere. So I want my common denominator to be 12 times 2 times 2 on the first add-in times 3 on the second add-in. 10/12 plus 9/12 is 19/12. Now you see that's an improper fraction, and you remember that an improper fraction is not considered to be simplest form. So remember, it's kind of like thinking about that problem 19 divided by 12. Remember, this is like a division problem. So I can get one full stick using 12 of those pieces. I have 7 left. Remember, that becomes your numerator. Your divisor here becomes your denominator. And I ask myself, is 7/12 in simplest form? Yes, there is no other number to divide both by. So that's an interesting one. You may get a sum that is an improper fraction. Make sure you turn it into a mixed number. What about this one? 1/3 plus 3/4. Well, can I use multiplication to go from a 3 to a 4? No, I may not. So I have to think, what is a common answer? Well, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. I don't have to go all the way through my multiples because eventually I'm going to say, oh, I know, it was 12, right? 12 was a common answer, and it happened to be 3 times 4. That will always work. Multiplying the two denominators will always be a common denominator that you can use. I hope that makes sense to you. So this time I'm going to use that 12 times 4 times 4 times 3 times 3. That should be really quick in your mind, I hope, knowing those facts. And something that equals 4/12 plus 9/12 is 13/12. Again, do you see how we have an improper fraction? Dividing that out, I am left with a final answer of 1 and 1/12. So fourth graders, you see the steps. You know that you must write your equivalent fractions on your paper so that you see it. But as long as you have common denominators, the same denominator, then you can simply add the numerators up and make sure your answer is in simplest form. So it takes a few steps. It takes you staying organized on your paper to do really well. All right, I see I have 5 more minutes on my time max on here. So I am going to do as many reteach problems as I can with you. And I hope that you maybe can even pause the video to see how you would do some by yourself. Don't just steal answers. You want to make sure you're empowering yourself to know how to add and subtract, because subtraction is very much like this. You will just need to subtract instead of add. So here we go. Finding the common denominators will be easy if you know your facts. These do not match. I need to rename. I always ask myself, do I need to rename one or both? Well, only one, because 3/4 is also known as 6/8. 1/8 plus 6/8 is 7/8. That is in simplest form. Don't match. Does 3 become a 12? Yes. Look how fast I do this. Times 4 times 4. 4/12 plus 5/12 is 9/12. Careful, when I see a 9, remember one of my questions, can I divide by 3? Yes, I can. So we're in my mind, I'm dividing by 3, I'm left with 3/4. That is the one and final best answer. Do I change one or both? I think, does my 5 turn into a 10 with multiplying? Absolutely. Times 2 times 2. And I'm left with 9/10. Simplest form? Yes, counting order. Does my 2 turn into a 3 with multiplying? No. So what is the common denominator? Well, 2 times 3 is 6. Would that work? Absolutely. Again, times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3, making that equivalent fraction from the previous chapter. 3, 6, 3 plus 2 is 5, 6, counting order. I know I have the final answer. Does 4 go into an 8? Make it into an 8? Yes, 2/8. Notice that it doesn't take me 3 hours to make an equivalent fraction. It takes just a few seconds using multiplication. And then I've got 5/8. Simplest form? Yes. 5 can be turned into a 10. Times 2 times 2. 9 plus 2 is 11/10. Uh-oh, improper fraction. I know 10 pieces of 10 equal 1 whole. I would have 1 left over. 1 and 1/10. Does 4 turn into a 12 with multiplication? Yes, times 3 times 3. Oops, I made a mistake. It's timesing by 3. That is often a mistake other kids will make as well. Don't be one that does that. I caught it right away. You make sure you catch that you don't do that. You multiply by 3, don't just write 3. So 2 plus 9 is 11/12, counting order, simplest form. Does 6 make into a 12? Yes, times 2. Times 2 times 2. 2 plus 7 is 9/12. Oh, that 9, can I divide by 3? Yes, 3/4. Hopefully that's beginning to be an automatic simplest form in your mind. Oh, awesome. I have time to finish. 5 become a 10? Absolutely. Times 2 times 2. 8 plus 6 is 14/10, improper fraction. I know 10 of those pieces will make 1 stick. I will have 4 left over. Ooh, I still notice that's still not in simplest form because they're both even numbers. I need to rewrite that whole. Don't forget that. Divide by 2, divide by 2. The final and best answer is 1 and 2/5. Does 3 become a 6? Yes. Notice I'm just tucking it next to it on the paper. Times 2 times 2. 5/6 is the simplest form answer. 4 becomes an 8, 2/8. They're equivalent. Check your fraction piece card if you need to. 5 plus 2 is 7/8. Simplest form, counting order. 4 become a 12? Absolutely. Times 3 times 3. 4/12. Is that in simplest form? No. Remember that first question? Does your denominator divide out of the does your numerator divide out of your denominator? Yes. So I'm going to divide by 4, divide by 4. My final answer is 1/3. So again, knowing your multiplication, backwards, forwards, inside out, always makes math go faster. So you are going to now go and Do a really great job on practice 20.6 and submit it for a grade today. Make sure your answers are in lowest, simplest form. Thank you. Do a good job.